A Jewish friend from Israel once told me that whenever they're reading the Torah portion for that day, that a lot of times when they are reading the scriptures in a certain story, say like the Exodus with Moses and the Hebrews and Aaron's rod that was thrown in front of Pharaoh that turned into a cobra and ate the other cobras of the magicians that opposed Moses. She told me that a lot of times when you're reading the Torah portion, that nature will manifest something from that story. And at the time, I was telling her that I had seen this little bitty snake in the yard, and it happened to be right at the time of when Moses and Aaron threw the staff in front of Pharaoh and it became a serpent. So I was just talking about Pharaoh, and I was talking about his crown, and that he had the serpent, the cobra, on his crown as king. And this is sort of a symbol of the Antichrist in the end times. So imagine my surprise today when I was walking down the sidewalk and turned a corner, and I went to the end of the building where there's an entryway that I used to go in and out of, but I don't anymore since the flood ruined my room down there. But I was kind of looking down, and I just slightly looked up, and right there on the sidewalk was a snake. And the snake was about 36 inches long or so, and it was unbelievable. I was trying to take pictures and trying to determine what type of snake that it was, because it does have markings like a rattlesnake, but I'm not so sure that it is. But it was right after I talked about Pharaoh wearing that serpent on his crown. And lo and behold, I was looking up the Torah portion for today, August 5th, 2023, and would you believe part of Deuteronomy, it's chapter 7 and verse 15, which I'll share with you in an audio file I just made where I read it. It talks about the Lord being their God out in the wilderness where the fiery serpents were. And that was the Torah portion for today. So I just wanted to share my pictures of this snake and say that it really is true that God's creation manifests in His Word, and when they're studying a certain portion of it, sometimes these things just manifest in nature, and you just kind of have to be aware of it. I just wanted to share these pictures with you because I'm telling you, it kind of made me tremble, because I wasn't expecting to come around the corner and that thing was stretched across the sidewalk. And then, of course, it slithered back around and went towards the rocks. And I went to report that there was a snake out there to warn people, of course. And, of course, they weren't going to do anything about it. But I just wanted to warn people in case, I didn't want them to walk out the door and there it is, coiled up, ready to strike. So you can see that it kind of did start coiling up and was going into the striking position when I was filming it. I backed up. You can't really see what I'm doing, but I am trying to be cautious and careful and not get too close. And I just thought this was very interesting that it mentioned the fiery serpents in today's Torah portion. So without further ado, I'll share these pictures with you, and it was unbelievable running into this. So I hope I never see it again, and I'm a little bit worried about my little birds. But the squirrel was out here having breakfast with me and sat with me and even jumped up on a chair and sat next to me. So I gave him part of my muffin, and definitely something was manifesting on the earth at the time of that Torah portion reading today, and mentioning Pharaoh and his serpent on his crown yesterday. So I was talking about the things of Egypt and how Jerusalem is partially known as Sodom and Egypt and Mystery Babylon, and all of these things are going to come to pass in the last days, that they will put a king on the throne that has all of these emblems, which I talked about in prior videos. So I'll just let you see the pictures, and I'll give you the scripture on my audio file and show you what I saw. And it was unbelievable. So fortunately, it's not where I am. I'm thankful that I'm not down there anymore. So it looks like it's going to storm here pretty soon, maybe, with some thunderclouds rolling in. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you this evening and see what you think. I'm not real fond of snakes, I can tell you that much. And we were trying to determine whether it was a rattlesnake or not. I did not see rattles on the tip of the tail. I couldn't really see the very tip of the tail because it was moving so fast, and it was hard to keep the whole snake in the frame because it was coiling up and stuff. So I took still shots and did the best I could under the circumstances. I was kind of a little bit freaked out because I wasn't expecting a big long snake to be on the sidewalk. So anyway, I thought I'd tell you that, that this Israeli friend told me that when they're reading the Torah portion, it manifests in nature. So sometimes, things like that will be like the story of Moses and Aaron throwing down the rod, becoming a snake. And of course I have my almond tree here, which I don't think it made it through the chaos of the house. But anyway, I do have the rod part of it, so I'm grateful for that at least. Still praying it comes back. And I don't know. I only have a few pictures in a video clip, but listen, because you can hear the snake start hissing at me, and it sure did make a sound that kind of sounded like a rattlesnake, but I don't know if it was or not. There's other snakes that have patterns that are similar, like a bull snake, and so it has to have a triangular shaped head. But some of the snakes I looked at online, they did not really have a pronounced jaw that was really triangular. So it's anybody's guess. The only thing about the bull snake is it didn't really have the coloring on the top of the head like this one did. So anyway, if anybody's an expert out there, you can just give me your opinion, I guess, on what kind you think it is. But anyway, I got the surprise of my life this morning. So I'll tell you the Torah portion I'm talking about in just a moment, and I'll show you the video clip and the pictures. Shalom for now.
I am the Lord your God, who led you through the great and terrifying wilderness with its fiery serpents and scorpions and thirsty ground where there was no water, who brought you water out of the flinty rock.
Oh my God, this snake was out here.